Welcome back to another episode of Skeptic's Corner, the house in between. I'm really excited about this one. I'm really excited to talk about it because this house had the longest investigation ever, as 10 years, longest investigation by one paranormal team ever. Going into this location, I know we're all excited because, man, they got so much activity. But going into this location, what makes this place active? When you look back at the history of this location, there's no history of people getting massacred there. There's no history of medical malpractice. There's no history of police brutality. There's none of that. So what makes this place so active in its history for it to be paranormal now it sounds like it comes from a very normal origin, whereas everything else came from, Sweet Springs and Trans-Allegheny, and you look at all the bad things that happen in these locations. None of that happened here. Yeah. So why is this why is this place so active? Not from a paranormal standpoint, just from what happened here?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's interesting because it's like this is the first house or place that we've been to that's not primarily necessarily ghost haunted. It's more like could be aliens, could be something weird, something less, obvious. I don't know. I don't know why it's active. It just apparently it's people have saw lights there. People have seen just kind of weird stuff happen that is not typical from the location. And the other thing is it's smallest location we've done. So it's it was an interesting spot. I don't know. What about you?
We all know what I'm gonna say. It's aliens. I mean, seriously, Mississippi is a hotbed. There's been a lot of stories about UFOs, and if there was no history or anything like that, really, and apparently it's the land. I mean, it felt like that was the land. It's aliens.
So I watched both of the documentaries before going to the location. Okay. So I think, like Taylor's saying, there was just interesting things that happened. And the owner doesn't even stay there. Still won't live there to this day. So I think that makes it still a more ominous feeling going there, knowing that, hey, the person that's lived here, built the house, isn't willing to stay here because things have happened. So it makes you want to be investigating it even more. And I know she's talked about the aliens, but there was one of the most famous alien abduction stories happened 100 miles away. So it's close. Okay. Relative, if you're an alien and you have a ship, it's really close. So, like you said, it's a hotbed for alien activity. So, and I believe the owner also thinks it's deal with more alien versus paranormal aspect as well because of the light she saw and things like that. So, I thought it was an amazing opportunity because, again, this is the first place I've ever walked into, because I visited this place 2.5 years before we went. Okay. And the first time I walked in to meet Alice and sit down in the house and just see it, all the hair on my body stood up. First time I've ever been in any location and it did that. So could that just be because of alien? Could it be paranormal? Could it just be the magnetic field and the ground? Is it different? And that's what causes the ball to roll down and stuff like that. Who knows? But I'm saying it's the only time I've ever had that, which made me want to do this investigation.
Okay, so we obviously found the inspiration behind going to the house in between. Was there any complications on getting us there? And I mean, I kind of know the answer, but I want y'all to talk about it in terms of, there's only been one paranormal investigative team that have been here for 10 years. They've been documenting this place, only one. How are we able to get in and be able to present this to the people that are watching?
Yeah, so it was very fortunate. So I was visiting family because I have family that lives in Mississippi, literally 30 minutes away. Okay. And my aunt had told me about Brad and the house and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, I would love to meet them when I was there visiting, because we had just started doing Skeptic stuff. And so I got the opportunity to meet him, go over to the house and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, later, I've always kept in touch. I was like, hey, we would love to come investigate at some point. But at that point, they were filming the second documentary and they were still doing other stuff. I said, well, when y'all finish that, let me know. We would love to come and do an investigation when we have the opportunity. So just let me know. So as soon as they finish, he let me know, and I'll put it on the books to go there and do an investigation. So it was something that's been like 2.5 years in the making.
Okay. So Taylor, I gotta hand it to you.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, we started out with solos, was something a little different.
Yeah.
We didn't go group. What do you feel about solos being first over group? Because normally when you go in with a group, you get that opportunity to bond as a pack, and you don't have to work. You can lean on somebody if you're scared of something. But starting out with the solo, first time ever at a location, just your thoughts about that.
I didn't mind it this time. The only reason I say we have to do them on bigger locations is just sense of direction. When you do it with a group, you go in, you kind of like get your wits about you. You figure out where to go, where to leave. This one was small enough to where it didn't matter. So it was kind of nice getting the solos out of the way, because they're always the scariest part. So knocking that out first was actually I liked it.
Okay. What about you, Mike?
I actually liked it too because it is small. The bigger locations, like he was saying, I like the group first because I have no sense of direction. Still don't actually after the group. But I liked this one because I just love the house. And it was just, because I stayed there, how long? We did. For a long time.
For a very long
so we just chilled during the day, ordered pizza. Like it was just living in the house, and it just really felt cool.
Okay. Gary, and then I'm going to bounce it back to you, Maeve. How much different or how much of the same was this location to the Hinsdale house? Because if you talk in terms of size of location, because, we talk about Waverly, we talk about Sweet Springs, we talk about Trans-Allegheny, we talk about those massive locations because those are bucket list locations, but these smaller locations are just as big, not maybe from a size standpoint, but from a rumor standpoint or from an activity standpoint. How does this house compare to Hinsdale, or there's no comparison?
I think it definitely compares because it's just a more intimate feeling. It's the same thing, even if you want to tie in Bobby Mackey's, it's just an intimate feel because it's a smaller location, less places, so you spend more time in a certain room or a certain area because there's not many places to go and investigate. So you get a more intimate feel versus like a Waverly, Trans-Allegheny or somewhere like that. You might get 10 minutes here, you got to move somewhere else. You might get 10 minutes there, move somewhere else because you got so much ground you got to cover. So you never feel like you're really getting in tune or you're getting intimate with the location. But the houses really gives you that intimate feeling.
Yeah. Maeve, you said Hinsdale that you only had to sleep for 3 hours. Well, at this location, you had a couple days, you was very comfortable. What was different there from the Hinsdale house? Or was it just pretty much the same? Or was it just the mindset of you going into this location that's a little bit different? Because again, square footage wise, they're really close, Hinsdale and this house in between.
I think they're really different. Size-wise, yeah, but it was just the feeling at the house in between as soon as I got there. So I didn't, maybe it was the snowstorm at the Hinsdale house, but I felt more connected.
Okay.
Like I didn't not connect with the Hinsdale, but it was just kind of a meh kind of thing. But I really felt a connection with it.
Okay, so we kick off solos, Taylor.
Yeah.
I don't want to get caught with my hand in the cookie jar. I just
I'm gonna hand that one to you.
Yeah. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna get to the.
I never picked on you for that. I'm very sorry.
So walk us through it. You go in for your solo, and I'm gonna let you tell your story how you want to tell it, because how I saw it may be different how you tell it. So we go in.
Yeah.
You go in. You enter the building. What's going through your head? Because I mean, we put us in the same mindset you're in, so we can understand unhandily why you came out.
Yeah. So the first thing I did, I think we went to the living room first. I go in. I'm kind of nervous. I'm actually not feeling too freaked out because it's a smaller location. I'm 2 steps away from the door.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm trapped in a down some corridor on the 4th floor of a giant sanatorium.
Your hands aren't tied to the location.
So let's just cut to it if we're gonna do that. Okay?
This is great. This is great.
Okay, so I do the living room. I think I'm not getting much response, and then I go to the stairs. I might have gone upstairs first, but ultimately I end up at the stairs. That's where the only thing that actually happened was on the stairs. So I was on the stairs, and then I noticed the light change in the room, and I was like, "What?" And then so the TV had turned off.
Yes.
The TV had turned off, and something turned it off. I don't know. It was the power. That house is kind of iffy. You see that with the chandelier. You see it with some of the rooms, but so something caused the TV to turn off and on. It didn't happen any other time the whole time we were there.
It did not.
So that was kind of weird.
It did not.
Power
turn.
went out twice on us too.
Yeah.
Power did? Okay.
I feel like you handled the situation pretty well.
And yeah.
Oh, Taylor.
So once the power turns back on, I don't really have awareness of where these stair cameras are that are on the screen that I'm looking at. So apparently there's a delay. So I see on the screen a hand like adjusting something, kind of moving. I was like, wait, there's a hand on the camera. And so I'm trying to do this, but it's not reacting on the screen. So it looks like there's actually a freaking hand moving around on the screen. And I freak out because I was like, that's not my hand because I'm doing this. The camera is showing just a still hand, like moving something. So I run out of the house, hand on the camera. There's a hand on the camera. And then I run out. So I handed it to myself. Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
I think I scared my hand scared me. So that's gonna stick with me for a while. I don't know how I'm gonna beat those allegations. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be professional. I'm gonna move on. I'm
Let's
not gonna
not get too
sit
crazy.
right there. No. So you see the hand on the monitor, and so this is why it's interesting to me, because when you see a hand on the monitor, like, is it like a ghost hand? Because if it looks like a human hand, then what makes you like, oh, was it like ghostly? Was it just like that? Because we weren't able to get the footage from that particular camera because that's a camera that
Actually drives me nuts because because I remember it this way. Something is like adjusting the camera, but you still don't see me adjusting the camera on the thing. You just see my hand in front of it. To me, what I remember seeing is something like actually like trying to adjust the camera and make sure like the angle was right. Which is what I saw. That's what I was like, something's adjusting the camera. And then I moved it up and down.
Really?
That's what I saw.
You can see all that on a screen that just went blank, that just popped back up.
Yeah, I mean, it's back on. So there's 4 quadrants. On the lower left quadrant is the camera that's probably nearest to me on the stairs. And it looks like
That's probably nearest to you.
Yeah, I don't know where the other 2 go. They could be on, I think there's another one on the stairs, isn't there? Were there 2 on the stairs?
I don't remember.
So yeah, that's what I saw, dude.
Yeah, you know what? I respect it. We're just gonna move on. Maeve, you go in next. And
Maybe actually started it.
I mean, I'm sorry. Let me get a handle on this, okay? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. With all the hand talk, I'm sorry. Yeah, maybe you started it. Hold on. Because I keep thinking back to when he ran out. He was like, dude, there was a hand on the monitor. I'm like, yeah, I kind of believe you. And then Gary goes in and like he goes, he saw his hand on the screen. So yeah, it's all flooding back to me.
You still can't. The TV still went out.
The TV did go out. It did go
So
out.
something happened. We can't rule it out because we never saw the footage. We can't rule out that it wasn't somebody else's hand.
True. Maeve, I apologize. You started the solos off first. I'm so sorry that I let the right hand know what the left hand was doing. And I shouldn't have did that. So
These aren't great. They were good at first.
So he said these aren't great. They were good at first. So you go in to kick it off. What kind of energy are you feeling once you walk into this house in between?
It was so creepy.
Really?
It was creepy. I was okay downstairs, but I got upstairs. What bedroom was that? The
Master bedroom.
master bedroom? I do not like that bedroom at all. I felt like there was something in the corner. Like, it just felt like there were things or people or something in there.
Just for reference, the master bedroom is where Alice slept a lot too, and I know she saw something in that room as well as the doll room, sleeping in both those different rooms. So she has seen something in that room as well.
Great.
Yeah.
But no, I just felt super uneasy. But then I think I told you, like, after a few minutes, it was like this super calm. Like, I was still kind of freaking out on the inside, but it was like I was calm about it. So it was like an unnatural calm.
Yeah. It was, I think I remember making a comment. This is completely different from some of our other investigations because it looked like you took the reins more. You channeled your inner Gary.
That's what it was.
Yeah, you channeled your inner Gary because Gary also, he came in hot because we talked about Taylor. He came in hot.
Mm-hmm. Super aggressive.
Yes.
Not aggressive.
Yes, you were aggressive, bro.
Challenging, but not aggressive.
You were aggressive. For a moment there, I felt like at some point you and Taylor was beefing. And it was like it was your turn to prove a point. And you went in to prove a point. This is the first time I've seen Sassy Gary. So what turns you into Sassy Gary?
Well, I think because I watched the documentaries, they said the house usually responds to being challenged.
Okay.
So I didn't do it in an aggressive manner. I did challenge the house to show me something, do something, because they said that it usually likes to respond to challenges. So I was giving it an open challenge. I also don't want to let people forget that Maeve got scared by the music box on her solo. Scared the bejesus out of her.
That's how, yeah.
Yeah.
As she's going upstairs. Probably why she was scared of that room. Because that's what the music box was.
Yeah.
But no, so I wanted to do something different because I usually don't ever do like a full challenge.
Okay.
But they said that it responds to challenges. So I wanted to give the house the opportunity to respond to my challenge. And then the whole thing, when I hear Taylor running out, and it's impossible not to hear him, I saw a hand! Like, I don't want to hear it, but I heard it because he's yelling it as he's running to the tent, basically. So I'm like, okay, well, now I gotta go in here and disprove this. So now I already had a mission. I already had a mission going. I'm like, okay, I got to figure out where he saw this hand, figure it all out. And I had no idea.
Yeah.
Like, so going in, I had no idea where any of this happened. All I know is he saw a hand on the TV. That's the only thing I knew. So I'm like, okay, I'm walking through, doing my stuff first. And then Dee's like, hey, sit on the stairs and see if you can get the ball to roll. So this is a setup because I don't know.
Yeah.
So, but as I sit there, I'm looking around again and I see my knee on that camera. And I'm like, hold on. There's a delay.
Here it comes.
Here's a delay. I put my hand there. I move my hand. Then the hand pops up and it moves. I'm like, hold on. Recreate it multiple times. And I'm like, He scared himself with his hand. I know he did. I know what it was. That's exactly what he did because I tried to sit in some location and figure, okay, how could he have done this if he's looking at the TV? And I feel like I can mimic exactly what happened. And I saw the delay, so I can understand it. But to his credit,
Yes.
I will give him a round of applause for that. It would be really scary at that moment because if he doesn't realize that camera's there and it got a delay,
Oh, he had no clue.
like it's gonna freak you out because
No
you
clue.
see something and then he's moving his hand and then it pops up because his hand's no longer there. It does have like a 1.5, 2 second delay.
But even I think it's even because the TV shut off and reset.
It could have been.
I think there was even a
delay.
longer delay at first,
Yeah,
trying to
yeah.
catch up.
Yeah, which so I could understand that's being free, but to my point, I'd be like, well, why didn't you try to investigate it versus just run?
Yeah.
Because if you could figure that out and it was not your hand, it's all about evidence.
Yeah.
Good Lord, what we would have had.
Yeah, it'd be
Yeah.
great if we would have got the footage back.
But so like that's the thing is like so I did go in with the initial agenda of like I got to figure out what this hand was, and then I wanted to try to challenge the house because they said that was something they responded to. But then I was able to debunk things like the light turning on and off. I could do that. I can dim and make the bright go lighter by just shutting the laundry door. I can't explain why I did it, but it did it every time I shut that door.
Right.
So like I was able to find that out after night one sleeping there when we were just hanging out relaxing. I was able to figure that out. So that would be something to do with the electrical. That's not paranormal. But we never got it to turn on and off on like things, but so some of the stuff I could explain away, some of it we didn't experience, so I didn't get an opportunity to try to explain it away.
Okay, so Taylor, before this investigation even started, man, I think you were behind the 8 ball because before you even made it to the investigation, something on your hand broke, shattered. So, I mean, I don't know if that was a foreshadow.
If maybe if he would have had that thing on, it would have
If he'd have had the ring. Tell us about that again.
Yeah.
So what happened going into this investigation?
Yeah, I got a ring of protection from a shop in New Orleans, and man, it was tied on my finger. I remember wearing it just tied on my finger. I go and just have it on all day. At the end of the day, the night before we leave, I'm at a sub shop, sandwich shop, get a sub. All of a sudden, I don't know if I flung it off or if I think I just literally was on my hand, like scratched up and then put my hand down and it just flew off and shattered into a million pieces. Like just shattered. So that was very interesting. We were thinking maybe that was like some kind of like omen of things to come, and maybe it was. Maybe it had something to do with the hand, and maybe the hand was real. And maybe we'll get the footage back, and the hand was real.
I hope the hand was real. I truly do.
Yeah.
Because if it doesn't, that's two things you're never going to live down.
We'll never be able to find the footage, so we'll never.
We'll find out. We'll have
Yeah.
the dates. We have the dates we were there. We can always go back.
I
would assume
promise
it's
you,
not-
he's going to try to find it.
I want to find it.
Yeah, he's going to try to find it. So we have a subscriber question, but now we'll go ahead and get to our subscriber question. This is a 2-parter subscriber question. It is Jeff Wiener from New York. He says, why haven't you guys investigated a hospital or a cemetery? Because if hauntings are based off death, wouldn't those 2 places be the most 2 places that are haunted more than anything?
Yeah, I think. Well, the sanatorium was kind of a hospital.
It was at some point. It was same with Waverly was tuberculosis hospital.
Yeah, Waverly. I think Waverly's what I meant. Yeah, Waverly. And cemetery, I would love to do a cemetery. I've gone cemetery and just tried out devices on my own, and it's fun. I definitely think we should do a cemetery. And that might be a good spot to do for like a Lost Files, a single day one.
Yeah, so like to echo that, like I think the cemetery would be more of a Lost Files episode versus a mini episode because you really can't do a 2-night. Because again, how are we going to set up security cameras? You're not walking into the cemetery.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just talking about like, so you guys have no problems doing the cemetery. Like I thought there was like, whatever happened to like respecting the dead.
You don't step on
like,
the graves.
Yeah, but like if they didn't die in the cemetery, so I don't. So I'm trying to to understand it, because the people that are in the cemetery didn't die there. That's just where they ended up at.
I agree.
So the mere fact that Jeff would think that place is haunted just based on the fact that this is where the normal body is housed at blows my mind. I don't think that cemeteries are haunted just based on the fact that bodies are there. But
if
is
you
what
are
I'm
a
saying.
ghost-
So the fact that y'all are saying that it's haunted because it's a cemetery.
No, I'm not saying it's haunted.
Hey, if you are a ghost, and you have family coming to visit you at a spot that you know they're going to come back to, then you might just hang out there because you know they're going to come by. Why? How does that not make sense?
It kind of does, but I don't think it's like you were saying. I don't think they're hanging out there or anything. But that's a place of grief, and there is a lot of energy and feeling going into that.
Okay.
So maybe that's doing something. But I mean, it's not the dead, I think, that are doing that. I think it's just the energy of.
I would like to do an investigation there, and we get a Night of the Living Dead situation. Just the
What
zombies
is wrong
come
with
up.
y'all?
If you're a ghost and you see your body getting moved somewhere, you're not gonna follow your body. I'd want to know where my body is at all times. And then when I finally put it in the ground, this is where my body's at, then I might just hang out there.
You're just gonna come visit yourself.
Also, it could be busy there. People could be like, okay, like this is a community.
What?
Yeah.
No way.
I was gonna think of it in a different way, that there's plenty of people at a cemetery that they were buried there without family. They were buried there. They have no family that visited them. They were just put there because there was nowhere else to put them, type thing. So those could be the people that are stuck there because they had nothing around them to remember them or anything. This is the only place they're remembered, is just some stone.
Yeah. So, okay, I guess. So here's my rebuttal to that. What happens to the people before that this ground 100 or 200 years ago, before this was even a cemetery, when people were living on it and living off the land? Maybe it was something positive, they're Christians or whatever, and then this cemetery comes in and all the people, maybe it's a new cemetery. Like, how do we know when it's haunted? Because from my understanding, ghosts hunt places, or they're in purgatory or in that threshold because they got unfinished business. My unfinished business is not at the cemetery. That's finished.
So, but to
That's finished.
To destroy your point you just said, is the previous ground could have been where they were living, and now people got buried on top of where somebody was living, their homesteads and stuff like that. Because you got to also think,
Okay.
most of the time when a cemetery is built, a cemetery isn't built on amazing land. They don't just destroy all this amazing land where they're going to build houses and, we're going to put a cemetery. They put it off in the cut. They don't put it like where it should be.
Okay.
Like a lot of cemeteries, they're all in the middle of nowhere. Not a lot of them now. Old ones way back when, because they might be in the middle of a town or city, because that was before the city was big. But like if you make a new one, they're not putting them where everybody see them. They hide them basically. And you got to drive 30 minutes to go to one because they want to develop the land. And even there's places now where cemeteries are moved so they can develop land. So now that cemetery, now you're messing with old bodies, and people have no idea. That could be messing with the places that too. So
Yeah. Maeve, I'm very interested to hear. You said that energy, grief, I understand that. But I would understand hospitals because people lose their lives there all the time. And I don't understand why more hospitals aren't investigated, because if you tell me a hospital isn't haunted, I'm gonna tell you that ghosts don't exist, because that has to be the mecca. So everything Taylor was saying about going to that place of cemetery to say, hey, this is where grief is. The hospital's the same way, because that's where the most grief is happening, because that's where the transitioning is happening, and that's where you get that raw emotion. So you would think that everybody would go back to that hospital. I get the hospital, I just don't necessarily agree with the cemetery. But I want to hear your thoughts on just like a hospital, just a regular clinic that you walk into every day. Like, why doesn't things happen there all the time? It's a really good question, because I feel like I should be sitting in the waiting room and something should fly off the damn wall.
Okay, so I've investigated a lot of hospitals.
Okay.
And I was a volunteer at a haunted hospital in Old
Okay.
South Pittsburgh, and then there was a hospital in Harriman, and it was busy, and it's always sounded busy, and I got a lot of evidence that I didn't get anywhere else. But like when it's really late and you're just sitting there, it just sounds like it's still operational. 'Cause
Really?
it does. It's really crazy. And the one
And this is a non-operational hospital.
oh yeah, no, I mean
You said it's.
yeah, and they're fairly new. I mean, they
Okay.
were shut down. I want to say 90s, 2000, something like that. I can't remember, but it just sounds busy. And the one I volunteered at has an elevator that does not work, and you can hear it sometimes, like somebody's hit the button. And the doors will rattle. Now it could possibly be air, but the button sound, it scared the bejesus out of me a couple times. And one of the things that I had happen there that I can't ever explain is, I think we were doing a day tour, and we had a REM pod sitting on the nurse's station, and we were asking questions like, "What's your favorite color?" And then one of the colors would come on. And then we were like, "Where are you at?" And it would like move. And we were like, "Light up the green light." And it would. Like, it was the most insane thing I think I've ever seen. So we went back and we like made it like ask questions. And then I think we asked at the end, "What's your favorite color?" And the same color lit up. That REM pod session was insane.
Yes, and that's one of the reasons why when the colors light up on the REM pod, you're more excited than when the beeping happens.
Right.
It makes sense now. It all comes full circle. Taylor, Gary said sitting on the steps that if a ball rolled down those steps and hit him in the back, he might believe.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you was a non-believer, Taylor, what would it take for you to believe in the paranormal? Will it take, be honest, like, I mean, because when we judge Gary and how hard he is based on us making him believe. Like, are we too easy?
No, I
Or
don't
is he
think,
too hard?
I think he might be too hard sometimes. I don't know if, I think it has to be like, obviously the ball thing could be gravity, right? It could be, honestly. It could, a ball is round, it rolls. Now, the Xbox.
Well, like you said, like with the ball, that's why during the video I said we put it in the middle. We didn't put it on the edge. Right. So if it was more in the middle, it's less likely to roll off. Sure. So it may have made me, but like you said, the Xbox. Go ahead. I'll let
Yeah, Xbox. If that would have come off, then it's like, yeah, okay, someone had to push that. Mm-hmm. Chances are it wouldn't just. There's no earth trimmer that could have caused that to just fly off the stairs or fly down the stairs. Right. So yeah, there's a lot of things that would make me believe.
That's what I'm saying. Like, give me something that'll make you believe that necessarily wouldn't make Gary believe.
See, like a shadow figure in front of me.
Okay.
Now, again, depends on what time, how long I've been up. What I've been doing that day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, seeing something, honestly, if I keep hearing things over and over, I might start believing something. Okay. Like whispers in the house or something like that.
The only reason why I asked that question, and Maeve, I want you to answer that question too, is because I look at sometimes and I'm like, are we taking on a mission that we can't accomplish? But then, we always talk about how hard it is to turn Gary. But I took a step back and I was like, are we easy? Like, is it easy to turn us? I mean, is his standards higher than our standards? Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Like, yeah.
It might be easy.
That's what I'm saying. Like, so now when he say these things, like, hey, I want this to happen to me, this to happen to me, this happen to me, I'm not saying, man, that's too much. Now I'm like, okay, we're gonna make that happen. Like, we just got to find that location. So I think it's a mindset in terms of not hey, we're easy or he's hard. Like, whatever his criteria is to make him a believer, going to differ from yours, going to differ from Maeve, and going to differ from me. But here's the thing, though. We can still get him there. We just can't give up. Yeah. So, Maeve, back to you. What would it take obviously you're a believer, but what did it take for you to be a believer? And then I'm gonna ask Gary again this one more time on what it's gonna take for him to be a believer, because I know it changed from location to location. But what did it take for you to be a believer? Because you've been Gary before. We've seen it. Hinsdale. You was Gary all the way, and it was very disappointing for me because I'm like, dang, man. He's like, it's just.
Okay, so the thing that made me a believer was a long, long time ago.
Yeah.
This is gonna sound so strange, but I don't remember how old I was. But my mom and me, I want to say, her friend and my sister, maybe. No, I think my sister was too. I can't remember who all it was. We were playing with a Ouija board in the living room or in the kitchen, dining room, and so.
Just start from the beginning.
She can see it like it's yesterday. You can tell her.
I can't. I'm trying to think about it.
Yeah.
I want to make sure it's right.
No, not her. Not the
I'm
kitchen,
trying to
go to
make
the
sure
living
it's
room. The
right.
dining room. No,
Dining room.
downstairs.
That was so fucking long ago. But our kitchen was over here and the table was right here and the fridge. And so I don't remember what mom was asking, but everything. I mean, we have all our shit on top of the fridge. And it was just like somebody took an arm and swept it in the floor. So that made me a believer. I believe in haunted chairs too, because my grandfather was born in 1901. So super old fella. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
And so there's
That's
pictures.
like the late 1800s.
For real. For real. Like he was alive when Wyatt Earp was alive. And,
Damn.
Right? And so there's a picture of him as an itty bitty baby. And his mom is holding him in this creepy ass rocking chair. And something happened and their house burnt down. And the chair made it. Like this old ass wooden chair, rocking chair made it. And then fast forward, I was like 16, I think, and our house burned down. And
The chair made
the
it.
chair fucking made it. We had to have it reseated, just the seat, because it melted.
Uh-huh.
The fucking wood's fine. And we got there and it was like literally on top of the rubble. So
Gary would say it's coated in fire extinguisher juice or something.
I had no water damage from them putting the fire out. Like
None of that.
Nothing. And so my sister has it now.
Okay. Gary, I asked you, what is it going to take to make you a believer?
Physical. Something physical has to happen, I think. Again, there will never be sounds. That doesn't make, now if something whispers in my ear and I'm the only one in there, that may be a different story. That's not D'Angelo. That may be different when it comes to sound, but like a creak, something like that, we'll never do it. It happens at locations, old, especially a lot of these places are old. But if something ever physical happens where one of us gets scratched and it's caught, like we see, hey, he didn't bump into something or she didn't bump into something and that's what the scratch came from. Okay, well there's some kind of physical evidence. If we're ever staying night somewhere and like Maeve said, the covers get ripped off and we have video of it. Yes, like the thing is, a lot of it, I have to have video evidence if it happens to them, because I know, like, I think a lot of stuff, like, they believe. So, like, certain things may be more evidence. Like, by Mackey's, he felt like something touched his shoulder. Well, the cameras don't show anything, but in that moment, he felt like something did. Like, I'm not going to discredit that he didn't feel something, but because he may have in his own mind during that situation, because it's a big, tense moment in the basement. But, like, I need something like that to happen to me, because I can listen to what they say, but it's not going to make me a believer because it happened to them. Like, I'm not going to say, no, it didn't happen, but I need to have it happen to me for me to be a believer if there's no video evidence of it. Because, and I think that's the thing for any other skeptic out there. I think they're going to be the same way. They're going to need it to happen to them or video evidence. Somebody else saying it's going to be so much harder to change their mind. Now, maybe if I said something happened to me, people may believe it because of how hard I am as a skeptic and trying to become a believer. They may be, oh yeah, well if it happened to him, he's not going to lie about it, type thing. Then maybe they would. But for the most part, you're going to need something physical to happen, or see it to happen, or video catch it.
Okay. So the house in between was a very interesting location for us because I was excited. I was very excited because the physical is what we were going in for. It was one of the very few locations where the balls rolled down the steps, doors open and shut, lights flickered. Like it wasn't like you walked in and you got like voice box recordings or you got music boxes to go off. We're talking about physical, tangible evidence. When you got there, I'm not telling you to put on your detective hat. I'm telling you to put on your investigative hat. When you walked in and all the things that you saw in this 10-year documentary that you saw in documentary 1 and documentary 2, we're not saying that they did or didn't happen. I'm saying that did this place give off the same energy that you saw in that documentary?
I never felt a paranormal energy from the place, really. It was kind of creepy, but to me, this is one of the lesser strong energies from a place that I've gotten.
Really?
Yeah. This place really wasn't like super scary. There was nothing there. It felt weird, obviously, because you see a documentary and like the paranormal, like the alien thing was kind of weird. It was actually a different kind of energy because I thought more alien than I did like haunted demon house. So to me, it wasn't as just mentally, it wasn't as tough as going into some of the other spots.
What about you, Maeve?
See, I think that's why it's so creepy. Like, it's not creepy, and it's not supposed to be creepy. Like, it's just a house where shit's happening. And not all places that crap happens are creepy. I think that's what makes it so intriguing for this place, is it's just a house. It's a normal house. She built it to live in it. And like I said, I don't think things have to be creepy.
Okay.
Because I definitely picked up some vibes.
Yeah. What about you, Gary?
Well, before I start, I want to, just for reference, don't adjust your cameras. This is the same Maeve and the same Taylor from the episode. I want to make sure everybody knows that.
That's great.
You literally just called us crap.
I didn't call y'all anything. I'm just saying he had a giant beard. Maeve hair was wild. So I just wanted to make sure, yeah, it's the same people.
It's the same.
They were not abducted while we were there and changed out.
Oh, that's funny. That is funny. Skinwalkers.
It's a compliment, but not a compliment.
Yeah.
It's a compliment. It's a backhanded one.
Yeah.
That episode is literally.
But hold on, just to give you my response. So I was super excited about going to this location because of the previous experience of the hair stand up when I walked in, and because of watching the documentary, knowing more physical things happen, and the whole aspect of it like to be challenged and it would respond. So that's a triple threat for me. I'm like, okay, well, let's go. Yeah. I'm all excited for it, and I think the fact that I didn't get much just destroyed me a little bit. Like, the house is awesome. I would love to do it again, but like we said, you can't guarantee something's going to happen every time, and it just didn't happen for me that time.
And I'm glad that you said that because we get down to our ratings. So, rating what you rated it then versus now. Do you still feel the same way that you felt then now? How would you rate it?
I don't remember what I rated it. I know it was low. I think I'm going to give it a 1 out of 10. Probably my lowest.
Maeve did not like it.
I'm pretty sure he lowered from what his previous one was.
Yeah, I think because it's the only spot I've been to where I didn't get a single shred of it, besides the hand thing, which it's probably me.
Yeah.
I got nothing. And not only that, the EVP was just didn't work. And I don't think it had anything to do with the house. It just was a new EVP we tried. So we didn't get any EVPs. So like I said, I'd be interested, like Gary said, rather, I'd be interested to go back and try it one more time.
Okay.
But
Maeve,
for this is 1. Yeah.
Maeve seems to disagree with your 1 out of 10. I want to see what she has to say.
Well, and I don't remember what I rated it, but I think it was kind of low.
Yeah.
But I got to thinking about it.
Uh-oh.
I got to thinking about it. And, well, I mean, honestly, 10 years
Yes.
those people spent in it,
Yes.
and they're comfortable. The house is comfortable with them. So we were what? You said we were kind of, like, I don't know, the first people?
We're the first one.
Okay, so it makes sense to me that we didn't get a lot of evidence because they're like, who the fuck are you?
Gotcha.
And so, like I said, I felt like I was being watched. I mean, I can't prove
You did say that quite a few times.
that, I mean, it was paranormal or whatever, and I don't have anything but my feelings on that. But I felt like I was watched basically the whole time. And so I would love to go back. I love that house. I don't know why.
Yeah.
And I love Alice and I love Brad. And I just think they're great people. And I want to go back like tomorrow.
Okay, so what would you rate it now?
Now, about a 7.
Okay.
It's been my favorite place.
Really? We're going to get to that. We're going to get to that.
So I don't remember. I think I rated it 3 or 4.
Yeah, it was
I'd probably rate it around the same just because I rate mine on based off evidence, and we didn't really.
Okay.
I definitely didn't get any evidence on mine, and I was able to debunk something that Taylor had in the moment as evidence, and I think that shows now that's why he gave it a 1 now because he didn't get any evidence during his. May's higher because I felt she felt safe in the house and she attuned to the house and she likes aliens and dealt with aliens, so I think that played a part into it. But I would love to do it again and go in not expecting things to happen like I did this time because watching the documentaries before and having an expectation, I think that probably ruined part of the investigation for me because I had expectations going in. Oh, it's such documented, all this kind of stuff. But if you think about it, everything they had in the documentary was over 10 years. They only had an hour and a half that they put on the documentary. So if they had an hour and a half worth of footage over 10 years, that's not a crazy amount of evidence all the time. It's periodically it happened. So again, it could have just been, this is an off time. There was nothing going on at this point. So I would like to go back and try it again.
And because of that, Gary, is why this is unrankable for me. I can't rank this one because my expectations were so out the window. It was insane because my mind wouldn't let me see 10 years in an hour and a half. I'm like, man, this is going to be the place. This show, Skeptic is over. This is it. Yeah. We're going to turn Gary. And then we get there and then you turn into sassy Gary. And I'm like, this is not how this was supposed to go. This is not going in the direction that I thought it was going to go. But it's unrankable for me and one of my least favorite places because the documentary kind of set me up for an unrealistic outlook on it, if you will. But I have to ask this, and then we're going to kind of wrap this up a little bit. Favorite place that you've gone so far?
Man, it keeps going back and forth between Bobby Mackey's and Sweet Springs. I think, honestly, now that I'm really thinking about it, Bobby Mackey's.
Okay.
Yeah, to me, it's the best. It's where I had my meltdown, but it also was because it's the place I picked. It's the first episode I ever saw of any ghost investigation was Ghost Adventures doing Bobby Mackey's. So it was awesome that I got to go. To me, it felt I think I got the most evidence. We got the most evidence. That's debatable. I guess you could say you guys did your shrine, whatever. I felt like I got the most evidence, and yeah, it was just the craziest experience.
Okay, Maeve, what about you?
House in Between. Is
Really?
my favorite. I'm telling you, I don't know. I know. But I love that house.
Yes.
And it's just, like I said, it was more personal. I can see why you guys, when it's investigative and we need hard evidence.
Yes.
And it's like, we're in their space. They've dealt with these other people for so long.
Yeah.
And it's like, who are you? And I could, like I said, but it was more personal for me, I guess. I could feel a little bit different things than I guess you guys could. So.
Yeah.
I am still sticking with the Euroshrine. Euroshrine
Really?
still my favorite location we've done so far.
Okay.
It was me, wasn't it?
I have to say this. Taylor, I thought you wouldn't go Bobby Mackey's. I thought you'd stay with Sweet Springs. Maeve, I thought you'd be Trans-Allegheny because I felt like you were locked in more at Trans-Allegheny and kind of connected with the women's and the women in the women ward, and you were really locked in. So to hear that this is the one, like, it's shocking.
Well, like you at Trans-Allegheny, I went in with all this expectation.
Ah, yeah.
And
you
remember,
did.
I don't know how
Yeah,
many
you're
times
right.
I was like, I don't believe anymore. I'm over it. I don't believe.
Why can't you come out and play?
Right.
Go?
I was kind of
Right,
pouty.
yeah.
I was pretty pouty about it.
Yeah. But Euroshrine too shocks me that you're Euroshrine, because I thought it would have probably been a house that or an investigation that you've done that maybe didn't necessarily associate with Skeptic. I mean, you've been to a ton, but the Euroshrine, man.
It's just we pushed the boundary.
We
It's
did.
it's the one time we've actually
did.
truly
We
pushed
did.
a boundary doing something that people are scared to do, and I'm all about it. So I think that type of stuff really, for me, was a big thing. I'm like, well, hey, let's do this again.
Huh? And speaking of that, where we going?